I'm going to start off my conversation now with Ambrose. You saw this development. Now, when you saw all of these things, how does this come to you? To you, I know it's a welcome development, but then again, let's look at it in a broad spectrum now. What ripple effect will it have across the ecosystem of the Nigerian economy?
You know, the move to suspend the recent tax is a relief for businessmen in Nigeria, especially the manufacturers, because before now, all of them have been grumbling, how are we going to add this to the burden already that is on ground? Suspending it for me is a relief for them. Now, to go further that, yes, restructure the whole tax system, because it's a statement that the president made on the day that this multiple tax system will stop, so that encourage investment and all that. So now this is a step towards that already. Suspending that means you want to look at holistically all the one have on ground before. How can even I said it to even protection of vehicle and all those stuff. They said for me it's a good move, but the moment sector also should also look inside. Not only tax is the issue they are facing today.
Okay.
Tax is just one of it. Also, the assets which is their employee is the assets of most manufacturers. How are they addressing the issue of their assets? Because I tell you, the economy is not friendly, but how are they putting together that these assets you have will not leave you? Because I tell you, the one thing is that when you leave the key people that matter in your organization to elsewhere, for you to get by people, that means I think the move that the president is doing, and also they too, as they are happy now, they are society, is to look inward. I know that the whole system environment has changed because cost of living has gone up, and they want to pay salary, they want to import. But I believe that you should also take out that as because if you have raw material, you have machine, without your personnel, that production process was incomplete. That means you need to extend this that president is doing now to their employer, to the employees they have, so that they can start treating them very well. So at the end of the day, we'll see goods coming out, because I tell you, it's not only just looking at government reducing tax, how also treating those that are working, so that at the end of the day, both the economy will be all with having manufacturers, consumers. Because I tell you, if you manufacture, there's no people to buy it as a consumer. Your goods will not somewhere. That means
the weak purchasing power.
That means we need to make sure that it goes around that people that will pick those goods from the shelf are there with improve purchasing power. So at the end of the day, your goods will live, and then we the investor cannot see you posting a positive number at the end of the day. We not see your earnings are part and our price, and we're also making money, because it's a cycle.
The multiplicity of taxation is not only the challenge that the business community is being faced with. There are other issues. Even inflation is even there. Now, there is no way you will talk about tackling the weak purchasing power of the average Nigeria without talking about tackling inflation. And now we're seeing that the Bank of America is coming out and saying that the federal government, the Central Bank of Nigeria needs to increase its MPR.
Is it now 30% now?
Yeah, exactly. I think by 700 basis points to 700 basis points. Now, with all of these fundamentals in place, what does the outlook of the operating environment actually look like?
Well, first of all, I must commend President Tinubu for doing some of these reforms, and all that is to create fiscal stability and economic growth. Of course, to also improve the tax administration, and also recognize the digital economy. Yes, Ambrose have said it. Apart from taxes, you have your personnel you need to take care of. Human resource is very key. Then you have mentioned now inflation. How does it up the operating environment now? Yes, President Tinubu knows what he wants to do, and it's just to create business environment. But how does he go about it? You can see they are coming to advise us that we should increase our MPR to 30%. If you watch me on this show, I had always said that is hawkish. When you just keep increasing your rate to
at the expense of the economy.
Exactly. Now with 30%, let's assume we increase by 700 basis points and we get to 30%. And now I want to start off my own small scale business. And that 30%, that's the APR now. And the bank is saying, okay, you must bring 40%, you must pay 40% or 35%. How am I going to cope? So when you increase NPR just in isolation, then you are just strangulating the economy. Again, we must also note that what is the cost of our own inflation here? We have said it here on this program severally, that it's a cost push inflation, not because of excess money purchasing,
liquidity.
Exactly. So it's cost push. So what are the things we need to do to reduce the cost of production? creating that enabling environment for manufacturers, for businesses. That is what the current president is trying to do.
Amongst all the 4 executive orders that was signed by the president yesterday, we saw this one, the suspension of the 5% excise duty on telecom service. Now, I'm going to shift the question now to Kofi as we wrap up this segment now. What impact will this have on the telecom sector, and how is this going to boost growth in that space?
Well, in the real sense, this act, even surprising when the president said that he has abolished it. Because the former Minister of Communication, Professor Pankali, has fight it against Minister of Finance.
Yes.
It's supposed to start effective January, but it was suspended. So I did not know when it even started working. But however, since the president has suspended it, it's a welcome development. But I can tell you, it never works. Because the Minister of Communication fight against it, and the president dropped it. I think the president just signed the act at the last date to depart, 28 May. So what the president did, he now said that it was not effective before end of his tenure May.
Yeah.
So now maybe it started in June and he cancelled it. It's a welcome development. Yeah. Don't forget, every telecom user is paying VAT.
Yes.
And what is VAT? 7.5%.
Yes.
That is good enough, even though we have a cheaper VAT. Go to Saudi Arabia, where they say it's tax-free. The VAT of Saudi Arabia is 50%. So if you come down to Nigeria, if you go to Ghana, they have double G. I have been to South Africa since 2014. Their tax VAT is more than 30%. So across Africa, you hardly get a country that use VAT single digit. Nigeria is still 7.5%. So all in all, we say we have a friendly tax, but it's good they suspended the 5. Because if you add 5% to 7.5%, it will be 12.5%. It's still below 15% charged by Saudi Arabia, where they are oil boom. So I think that we are doing all what is possible, and it's more encouraging to the investors and to the local. Don't forget, already we are feeling the pain of removing the oil subsidy. You spend 40,000 to fill your car now instead of 10,000. And now with this, you now go and add other tax to telecom. It makes us nowhere to rest.
Yes, certainly.
And if we squeeze us, the economy will go down.
No money to invest.
Good.